guys, welcome back. It's BCC or Belgian Waffles here, and today it's Christmas! Actually, it is not Christmas. It depends on when you're watching this. If you're watching it on Monday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or a different day. So, I'm going to say to y'all right now, Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Day after Christmas. Anyway, this installment is the third installment of the series Tears for Fears, where we rate things and put them on a tier list. Today's subject on the tier list is Christmas movies! This is also our Christmas special for the channel this year, so yeah. Sadly, due to time constraints and other outside influences, I had to take 5 movies off of the list. Now, I know I had a commercial running throughout my videos every time that would say 32 movies, and it went over what we'd be doing today. So yes, this is a very highly anticipated video for me, and I'm really excited to do it. Unlike Tears for Fears number 2, our Thanksgiving special, this one is not going to be with custom tiers. Not all 27 Christmas movies were on the same tier list, so sadly we have 2 separate tier lists, one for 4 movies, and the other one having all other 23 movies. We are going to be doing it on a traditional tier ranking list from S, A, B, C, D, and F. All these movies I watched beforehand, so I can never say that I never watched them, and there's no tier for that. To open up our Christmas tier list, our first movie is Jingle All the Way. This movie's great. It's honestly great. But we're gonna give a little synopsis real quick. So it's basically, father gets present for his boy, forgets about it, tries to get the present for his boy the whole movie. He's an ass father, actually, kind of dookie balls. So to open up the movie, we get a great action scene on the goddamn TV, like Power Rangers, like the old Power Rangers motherfuckers. Big guys in suits of like dinosaurs and shit. Motherfucker in a little golden suit, kicking ass. You already know. This whole movie is also just Anakin Skywalker's origin story. Like, literally, it's Anakin Skywalker in the movie, and his father sucks. Literally, Arnold Schwarzenegger had sex with Shmi on Tatooine and came back to Earth, and that's how we have Anakin Skywalker. That's his twin brother, actually. Like, we literally have the father of the Chosen One. In this movie, there's also the annoying-ass neighbor who, like, buys a donkey and tries to, like, have it murder Arnold in the movie. He also tried to sleep with his wife the whole time. Sinbad. Great actor who's in this movie. His entrance into the movie was also peak. It's like Black Friday. Everyone's about to kill each other for presents, and he literally just starts choking an Asian lady in the middle of the street just because he's a bad father. I love it. Also, the Santa factory scene. Literally, 20 bazillion Santas, illegal gambling market or illegal toy market. Arnold Schwarzenegger just beating the motherfuckers up. You already know. That's a great scene. Infamous scenes in this movie. This movie is literally just, it's great. Also, this movie talks about a lot of modern issues at that time, like mail bombings. There's a bomb in the mail. My dad, who lived through the 90s, said that was a big thing, actually, with people sending bombs through the mail. So, they were actually very politically correct in there. Also, you have, in the end, where it's the big float battle. It's all cool and all that. But literally, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes, "I'm your father," to Anakin Skywalker. We have a moment where that happens to him, too. This is the original Star Wars. And then, the ending. I love the ending, actually, because, to be honest, it's actually a great movie, in my opinion. I mean, it's a classic. I love this movie. It's a personal favorite. One of my top ones. And apparently when this movie came out, it was actually dog shit. No one liked Jingle All the Way when it came out. It actually only got popular and gained a cult following, like, in the 2000s and became a classic then. But when it came out, it was honestly shit on. And the people and the directors who made it were not liked. They were not liked. They didn't really make another movie again. So anyway, looking at my notes, looking at the movie, the final rating for Jingle All the Way, it goes in S tier. I love Jingle All the Way. Okay, now we're going to start the Grinch movies off with the original Grinch. The original Grinch had actually a very great coloring and art style to it, which I really appreciate. But I honestly feel iffy about the narrator voice, and I know that's a hot opinion, hot take. I'm not that fond of the narrator who narrates this movie. But again, hot take, a lot of people do like him. He's a legendary narrator. You know what I mean. The music in the Grinch is phenomenal, though. I do love the music in this movie. It's pretty good. But what I really want to know is, what is the obesity rate in Whoville? Because these motherfuckers be eating every goddamn second they're on screen. These motherfuckers look like my friend Connor. These motherfuckers have such a high obesity rate, they just keep eating. Also, if everything in that goddamn movie, if it's like something or someone that's a who, and they say who beginning, like who something, what the fuck is who pudding? Who pudding? Is someone making the pudding? Also, this movie is honestly the perfect guide for how to get away with robbery, and literally gives you steps on how to take things and steal. But anyway, also the Grinch is evil because he also holded like 30 hostages at the Who fucking embassy for 440 fucking days. The Who hostages, bro. And anyway, The ending of the movie is pretty good. I mean, he steals everything. They still think, Christmas can be special even though if we have no worldly possessions, so they start singing. And as they're singing in a circle, the brightest star in the sky comes in the middle of them and rises up. This movie is about the second coming of Jesus Christ! Anyway, so with Jesus Christ in there, the Who hostage situation, and fucking Who pudding, I'm gonna put the original Grinch movie in A tier! The second Grinch movie, the Jim Carrey Grinch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So this one's gonna be short because it's literally the same story, but done again, live action. I gotta say, first things off, I love Jim Carrey in this movie. His acting in this movie is actually phenomenal, and I love him as the Grinch. The makeup design of the Grinch and the Who's in the movie are honestly just so great, and I love it. I love that he also terrorizes the people of Whoville like days before Christmas happens, and he also goes around and is just there in the world. He doesn't feel so much like a monster, he feels just like a menace because he is in there causing trouble and winning awards and being a bitch. Also, when they're in the mailroom, they say that the Grinch is more of a what than a who. So my question is, what the fuck is the Grinch? What is he actually? The one fault of this movie is the music. The music in this movie is not as good as the original, but not as bad as the new one. But it's basically the original just with like some story tweaks with the whole award thing, which I actually do like. So this movie is not bad, but the problem is it falls short of the music. If it had better music, it would literally be top tier. So, final note on the Jim Carrey Grinch movie is that this Grinch is the Goldilocks of the Grinches. This Grinch isn't extremely evil like his original one. He's not super unevil and just like anxiety filled like the new one, but he's actually extremely funny and the most relatable of all of them, and he's somewhere in the middle of the evil monitor. The Jim Carrey Grinch goes in A tier! The third Grinch movie, the newest one, with Taylor the Maker, Tyler the Creator. Honestly, and Pharrell is narrating. I hate Pharrell narrating. I like his music. I love that. We come so far. Yeah, no, but I don't like him as a narrator, to be honest. I hate this movie a lot. I hate this movie so much. I hate the look of the Who's in here as well. They look like my beaver ass dick butt, and they just look ass, bro. They're so furry, but they look like humans. I hate it. Though, the one thing, I have the same eating habit as the Grinch in this movie. That is the one good thing about this movie. I literally eat like the Grinch in this movie. Also, the little girl in this movie, she's trying to, meet Santa. Motherfucker said it would take 1 month to walk to the North Pole. Where the fuck in the world does this little ass bitch live? Where do they live that it's a 1 month walk to the North Pole? Also in this movie, the Grinch doesn't seem much grinchy or evil. He honestly just seems like he has social anxiety. So I kind of feel bad for the Grinch in this movie because he literally just seems like one of the fucking weirdo kids in my school where they're just anxiety filled and they're just like, oh, I don't know. He doesn't seem evil, which I want the Grinch to be evil because it's a Grinch movie. Anyway, final note, this movie blows cock and balls, actually. I hate it. Even the music's kind of ass. I like Tyler, the Creator. I mean, I'm not an avid listener of Tyler, the Creator, but I like his music, and this shit's ass. Anyway, the new Grinch movie featuring Taylor, the Maker, it gets an F tier! The next Christmas movie is a movie called Four Christmases. Basically, it's about two people who have divorced parents and they have to spend Christmas at 4 different houses with the 2 parents of each child who's separated. Anyway, this movie is honestly a good movie. Honestly, in the beginning, Vince, the main character, is basically me with women. He's pretty weird, polite, but it's actually a facade. But I'd be a bitch, to be honest. Anyway, I think we also should normalize being together and not always being married. In this movie, they actually, this couple in this movie are actually couple goals, to be honest. They do everything together. They're actually pretty good together. In the beginning, the news come and, spoil their plans to go to Fiji. Me personally, I would have crashed out on that news reporter! Fuck her! Anyway, Christmas number 1, basically, is my house. It's basically my house. It's kind of crazy, Also, honorable mention to the TV scene, where the fucking TV just, flies across the room. Beautiful scene, guys. Christmas number 2, the mom is bad as hell. I love her in everything she does. She's in multiple Christmas movies, and she'll be later in the list. It's GILF and MILF season in that house, though. Every woman's a MILF in that house. Come on. Grandpa's in the fucking chair with his soul sucked out of him. That Christmas is a W. I'm beating the fuck out of the children, though, for what they did with this goddamn pregnancy test. Holy shit. On the fucking bouncy house. Fuck them kids, bro. Fuck them kids. Not in that way, but fuck them kids. Christmas number 3, though. Cool house, honestly. Would be perfect for the boys. It looks really cool, but perfect for the boys. The mom with the best friend, though. Bro, me personally, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing the fuck out if my best friend's porking my mom! And they had the worst family game ever. Fucking Taboo or whatever the fuck it's called, where you can't say the word. And, yeah, Christmas number 4. Normal ass household, to be honest, and I appreciate it. Normal household. Everyone's jolly jolly. But anyway, final message from this movie. 1, trust your partner. 2, be honest with your partner. And 3, the news media outlets are the number 1 top ops! So, with Four Christmases being a good love movie, and an okay family movie, and a movie you really, watching by yourself is iffy, I'm gonna put Four Christmases in A tier! The next movie is another Vince Vaughn movie. Wow, I know. He's in more than one Christmas movie. That's just sad. Actually, like, no offense, but like Vince Vaughn's cool and all, but Christmas? He's not Vince Vaughn. Christmas. Come on. Anyway, the idea of Fred Claus is that Santa Claus has a brother, and, so he, is a bitch, to be honest, the whole movie. He's kind of an asshole. Low life, In this movie, they have a weird lore of Santa where he was like a boy in like the 1600s, grew up, was a saint because he was so nice and stuff that he became immortal, and all of his family did too. So, literally they can't age, which is a little weird of a concept, to be honest. And like the whole thing with like his whole family being that because he's a saint, and his brother being an asshole. I don't know. Anyway, in this one, as well as Jingle All the Way, there's another Christmas Santa chase scene or fight scene with our main character Vince Vaughn fighting Santas on the street for the Salvation Army because he's an asshole again. Looking at the movie, it's kind of boring and bland in the beginning, and it really doesn't rise up much. The elves in the movie are honestly kind of old, and like the weirdest thing is they're like people's real faces on like little bodies, like little people bodies. I don't like that. It looks really weird when they move around and stuff, so it's kind of like iffy. One good part of this movie is that Kevin Spacey from Advanced Warfare, in charge of the Atlas Corporation, is in the movie, and Atlas Corporation is trying to buy the North Pole. Advanced Warfare is canon, so I'm happy with that. Another good thing about the movie, Ludacris is DJ Donnie in the movie, where he literally just plays Christmas music 24/7, but it's Ludacris. We like Ludacris. Ludacris. One of the best scenes from the movie is called Famous Sibling Anonymous, where siblings of famous people come together and they talk about their problems with famous people. People such as famous people. Alec Baldwin's brother's there, and they're talking about their problems. But anyway, all in all, honestly, still by the end of the movie, it's a bland, boring Christmas movie. It doesn't really bring up anything else, and I gotta put it in C tier. The next movie is Frosty the Snowman. In this one, I like the narrator a lot more than the Grinch, and I know that's a hot take again because people like the Grinch one, but it's whatever. Anyway, this one's about a snowman that comes to life because of magic and love. First thing off the bat, the teacher that's in this classroom, she's fine as hell! Fine ass shawty. And we see the children, and, I just gotta get it out of the way. This little fucking cancer patient of a child tried to name the fucking snowman Oatmeal! Yo, someone get this cancer patient out of here. Actually, get him out of here. The song, Frosty the Snowman, throughout the whole movie is actually a fire-ass song when you listen to it straight up. To be fair, Frosty can do more shit than me. Like, he's fucking talented, bro. This guy motherfucking does everything, bro. But the cops in this town also suck. They just let him walk around terrorizing the town. Like, they don't fucking care. And honestly, when you look at it from, like, the parents' perspective, Frosty kidnapped that little girl and took her on a train and took her to, like, 3 miles out. And later, she would almost freeze to death. So, like, literally, he kidnapped the little girl and almost killed her. Frosty's end comes when he basically gets heated up and honestly gassed in a fucking gas chamber. Literally, he walks into a fucking glass building, the door gets shut, and it gets hot in there and wet, and he basically just fucking dies. Literally, it's almost parallel to the Holocaust. Like, literally, he almost died in a gas chamber. And at the end of the day, I feel bad for the magician because honestly, he wasn't a bad guy. He kind of just wanted to perform for people. They made fun of him at the school. He wasn't that talented, but he kept trying. He had determination, to be fair. And they stole his hat. And his hat made one of the most magical creatures in the world. And at the end of the day, all he wanted was his hat back because he knew it could make him famous and it could make his dreams come true. These kids were cock-blocking him from a future of success. And then Santa told him no! So at the end of the day, I feel bad for the magician because he couldn't build a career like he wanted because these motherfucking little kids wanted his hat so bad. That was his only motivation the whole movie. He wasn't even a bad guy. This is when movies would make the bad guy understandable, so you couldn't hate everyone. Anyway, with the movie Frosty the Snowman, I'm gonna hit it with an A tier! Because, to be honest, it's not S tier. It does lack some things, like maybe making the villain more despicable, or maybe even making the movie longer since it's kind of a short movie. But it's definitely really up there with the high ones because of the song and the theme and just the character Frosty Snowman himself. So yeah, it's A tier. The next movie is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Now this is one of the old stop motion ones, which I actually love the old stop motion ones. Any movie that's stop motion and old automatically gets counted from D tier and up. I can never put any of the stop motion old ones from the 60s in F tier. Frosty's different. He's animated, but he's not stop motion, so. Anyway, this one's basically just about the origin of Santa, so it's, already gonna be pretty okay. We're gonna be doing pretty good. The narrator in here is actually, I like the narrator in here, so, yay. We open up with the mailman giving out letters. He's counting letters for Santa, and he knows a lot about Santa. Little kids around the world ask him questions about Santa, and honestly, they ask him some good-ass questions, like, how did he get his hat? Like, the fuck? This movie has the best Santa Claus origin story of all time. Like, the Santa Claus movie has the best way of, like, who he is, how does it pass down, what does he do? The soundtrack in this movie is S tier, literally S tier music in this movie, just to start off. Every song is just so good, like, 1 foot in front. Everything is good in this movie. This movie cannot stop with the great music. Also, the voice acting in this movie is actually phenomenal as well. I like the voice acting in this movie. Ice King from Adventure Time is in the movie as well, and he plays the second bad guy who becomes good later on. The Burgermeister Meister Burger is the main antagonist of this movie. He bans toys because he fell downstairs from slipping on a toy. I'm just saying, that's top op behavior. That man is just an asshole. He's literally an op, bro. Falling down the stairs because you slipped on a toy and then banning toys is such a pussy thing to do, bro. Actually, to end off the Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie, I just gotta say, Miss Jessica is a baddie, bro. She's actually a baddie, bro. She becomes Mrs. Claus later, but before she's Mrs. Claus, she's a baddie, like certified. Anyway, to end off Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I'm gonna give it an S tier! The next movie is the original Santa Claus, or The Santa Claus. So in here, Tim Allen is basically, this is the origin story of the next Santa Claus, or basically a whole movie about a guy becoming Santa Claus, aka Tim Allen. We open up with Tim Allen honestly looking like this motherfucker could be a serial killer with his fucking full-on gloves and like trench coat. It fucking's terrifying, bro. His ex-wife and her new husband are dropping off his son for the night. His fucking ex-wife's fucking new husband is an asshole. He's a weirdo. I hate him. He's a psychologist, so he's not even real. Then we have the disgusting turkey dinner and the walk of shame that Tim Allen has to make to go to Denny's. Denny's! We love Denny's! Denny's shout out. I love Denny's. Denny's Grand Slam. And also shout out to how they have the whole Godzilla cast at the Denny's. So anyway, this actual movie is actually honestly a movie about imposter syndrome, where he basically doesn't believe that he's deserving of the role of Santa, and he's basically in denial about it the entire time. There was a mention of a weenie whistle. The cops in here kind of suck. Like right here, there's literally a board where all the cop cars are stationed at the parking lot of the donut shop! And then at the end, we see these elves save Santa, part of a special task force, and they have jetpacks. They're a little, weird, though. They look weird. In the ending crowd of the movie, when Santa is saved, there's elves that are in the crowd of humans, meaning that elves have integrated into our society and are inside of our living homes. Elves live within our communities and we don't even know! Anyway, final note of the movie. Honestly, this is a fire-ass movie, and I think this has the best Santa lore of all time. I think this movie right here gives the best lore on who is Santa and how Santa works. So, the original, The Santa Claus, goes in S tier! The next movie is the second Santa Claus, the second movie of a trilogy. So, in the movie, in the beginning, right off the bat, we see that jetpacks are now crossly distributed between the elves, and we see them flying around the whole North Pole, and the North Pole looks a lot more developed. Which means the elves and the North Pole have gone through an industrial revolution since the first movie! To be honest, the opening, war scene with, possible, natural manipulation of the Northern Lights by Santa and, EMPs going at the fucking plane, That shit's kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool to see this almost like they're gonna get found out, but then they have fucking EMP grenades and they just throw them at shit. In this movie, the elves seem to be very surprised that Santa Claus needs a Mrs. Claus, which is weird because there would have been a Santa Claus with Mrs. Claus, I think. But since the elves are very confused that he has to do this, does this mean that a Santa Claus in history, in this universe, has never hit a Mrs. Claus? Like, a Santa Claus has never been around long enough to hit the claws where they need a Mrs. Claus. So, what I'm getting at is that we haven't had Santas that long in this universe. Like, literally, they either die off or they retire, like, a couple years in. Tim Allen's 7 years in and he has to get a wife, and they're all surprised. Anyway, we also get introduced to the holiday gods, which are the gods of all the other holidays, Mother Nature, the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, all that. They talk about how Tim Allen is 86% up in happiness and productivity since he's been in office, so he's a very good Santa, and this supports the claim about the Industrial Revolution happening in North Pole. They've also achieved cloning and mass duplication of toys, so they can fucking mechanize and clone and massively distribute everything. One thing I hate about this movie is the antagonist, the toy animatronic guy. I kind of hate him, but it's whatever, to be honest. This movie is actually a whole commentary on, like, dictators and, like, dictatorships and, like, like, one guy over the power of everyone else. Literally, he dresses like a dictator. And my final note on this movie is I really don't care about the subplot of love and, like, him finding a Mrs. Claus, which is actually the entire plot of the movie, and I call it a subplot because I really don't care for it. But everything else in the movie is iffy. I mean, we do get to see the North Pole, cool and all that, but the whole, like, Mrs. Claus thing is kind of, like, icky, and it didn't make me feel anything. Anyway, looking at the Santa Claus 2 and everything I've written down, my notes and how I think the movie is, I think the Santa Claus 2 goes in B tier! Now we're going to talk about the third and final Santa Claus movie, where basically Jack Frost is a bitch and wants to become powerful and own the North Pole and does it. The crimes that Jack Frost committed in the beginning of the movie where they talk about it were kind of fucking diabolical. This man actually did some nasty shit, I'm not going to lie. While they're at the meeting as well, Mother Nature is fine as hell, bro. She's been fine as hell since the first time we saw her, but she's so bad, bro. Actually, Neil is actually fine in this movie. He's actually not that bad, so we're good with that guy for right now. Honest. Bad note on this movie: I hate Canada, and this movie takes place in Canada. Not actually, but they say it does, and I hate Canada, so that's a bad thing. The moments where Jack Frost is sabotaging the toy factory and everything starts going wrong honestly pissed me off because of how how avoidable it was, and basically his whole idea of getting everything to go wrong. It pissed me off because it was just so simple that it was him, and it pissed me off that no one suspected it was him. We also see a globe room where the amount of globes is the amount of Santas because every Santa has a globe that's like them. And I'm looking at the globe room when they show it. There were so many fucking Santas in the past. No wonder why none of them hit Mrs. Claus. So I need to get Matt Pat. Well, she's gone. So I need to get fucking Game Theory. Whoever's in charge of or Film Theory. Whoever's in charge of Film Theory needs to hop on the Santa Claus and count every snow globe in that goddamn room so we can see how many Santas are there actually and how many fucking were in the past. To end off, we're going to also talk about how this movie actually has massive capitalist like theme with exploitation of the North Pole and its attributes, and literally how he made so much money off just having people buy toys instead of giving them out. This movie actually talks really bad about capitalism, which is, iffy. I mean, this is America. We love capitalism. We love money. Final note, Jack Frost is still a weirdo. He growled and almost meowed or at a little girl hugging him, which is kind of nasty, and I think he should be jailed for that. I mean, he did other crimes too, but he should be jailed for that. So with all those weird themes out of the way, and all the weird shit in this movie, and Jack Frost being an absolute weirdo, I'm going to give the Santa Claus 3 D tier! So, next is Arthur Christmas. This movie's basically about a bike that gets lost in Santa's factory, and the son of Santa has to go and basically give it back to the little girl because you can't have a child without a present on Christmas. I'm just going to say this flat out. My final note on this movie is, I don't care if one child misses Christmas. If that child's there, I don't care. If everyone else gets Christmas but one child, then they get Christmas. I'm not risking all the children's Christmas for this one little girl. They have an Independence Day kind of opening in the movie with the beams of light coming down when all the elves are kind of doing the work for Santa. Now, my question is, when we're looking in the houses in Arthur Christmas, one of the people is baking a turkey and it is 4 a.m. in the morning. Also, when they're doing the fucking judgment of children, how is the elf that's doing the judgment 82% good? What did he do? Rob a bank? He didn't do something evil, but he robbed a bank, so he's not fully nice? He's a goddamn Christmas elf. The Santa's lazy, bro. Actually, 70 years of doing it, and he's lazy as fuck. When we go to the mission control, their electric bill must be through the fucking roof. I don't even know who funds this operation, but it's expensive as hell. Okay, honestly, my note on the rest of the movie is it's kind of boring. I mean, like I said, there's that monotone story of getting the bike back. But to be honest, I didn't feel for the characters. I didn't really feel the stakes of it happening, you know? And it was kind of a boring movie. So, Arthur Christmas goes in C tier! The next movie is Die Hard. Now, this one's gonna be super duper short because here's my thing. I love the movie Die Hard. The movie Die Hard is good. But if you were to come up and ask me if Die Hard was a Christmas movie, I'm gonna tell you it's 100% a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a good movie. It's a Christmas movie. But I don't think that Die Hard is a good Christmas movie. So, because I think it's a good movie and a Christmas movie, but not a good Christmas movie itself, Die Hard goes in D tier! Only for this specific ranking, though. The next one is a beast, a titan, the Polar Express. So I gotta just say, to start off, honestly, I love Tom Hanks in this as the conductor and basically everyone else in the movie, and I love him as the narrator in this. So we start off with the beginning scene where this makes me think that this takes place in California with the goddamn earthquake and everything. This is a scary ass scene, I'm not gonna lie. Now my question is, why the fuck is a train pulling in to a residential fucking neighborhood? Where's the fucking train stop? And then of course, the best line of the movie, "This is the Polar Express!" So I gotta say, the music in this movie as a whole is honestly kind of mid. But there's two songs that kind of stand out the most. Of course, you have the main theme of the song, which is Peak, and the hot chocolate song. I'm talking hot, hot, hey, we got it, hunt, hunt, oh, my asshole. And of course, one of the worst characters in movie history, that fucking blonde bitch. I don't even know his fucking, hey, you know what train this is? Yeah, you want to know what kind of train this is? He's like Urkel, but like doesn't have the N-word. Pass. So, final note, honestly, right now, not when I'm recording this, but recently, I've realized the point of this movie, and it's the main kid losing faith in Santa, and then on Christmas night, he ran outside, he ran away, and I think the train is him freezing to death, and the train is taking him to heaven! This kid died on Christmas night! That means that when we see Santa later, Santa is actually God! Anyway, Polar Express, a titan, a beast. It goes in S tier! The next movie is an old classic, Home Alone. So, I gotta say, why the fuck are there so many goddamn children in this house? I'm used to a big family, but this is a lot of fucking people in one house. And when they get mad at Kevin, and that's why he's sent to his fucking room and forgotten about, they get mad over at Kevin for like the stupidest fucking reason, too. It wasn't even his fucking fault. I feel bad for Kevin. The supposed cop that ends up being, you know, Joe Pesci or, you know, the fucking robbers. He does not look like a cop! And then, of course, the best line of this movie as well, when the mom realizes that Kevin's missing and she goes, Kevin! I gotta say, how the fuck are either of these guys not dead when they get hit by these fucking traps in the movies? I mean, one of them literally gets shot in the fucking face! And on to my favorite scene of the movie is the pizza delivery scene where he uses the TV to shoot and scare away the pizza driver and get pizza! Pizza, pizza, and you see the pizza driver get scared. That's like one of my favorite scenes, and he does it in the second one, but we'll get onto that when we get onto that. And to finish off with Home Alone, I gotta say the ending of the movie is honestly mid. I mean, it's kind of expected. We expected his mom to get back. We didn't really expect too many things. The robber got caught. It's kind of like basic. So, Home Alone, I gotta say, I feel weird putting Home Alone in S tier. I don't feel like Home Alone is an S tier Christmas movie, but it's like a really good one, and it's probably one of the greats, but it feels weird to put Home Alone in S tier for me. I'm not sure why. So, with that being said, Home Alone goes in A tier! Now, the second Home Alone. This is basically like the first one, but just in New York. So, it's already going to be less on the totem pole. Now, this one is basically the same movie. Like I said, people are getting hurt by traps. Though, Tim Curry's in it. Tim Curry, you know, actually W, actor. The story in this one makes more sense of him getting lost. This one seems more realistic than the other one. We also use the TV again to shoot people or whatever, also. And my final note on this movie as well, because it's pretty short because it's a copycat of the first one. Special appearance from Mr. President himself! Yeah! Mr. Trump! If I don't put Home Alone 1 in S tier, then I can't put Home Alone 2 in S tier. And I can't put Home Alone 2 in A tier because it isn't as good as the first one. So, Home Alone 2 goes in C tier! The next movie is Will Ferrell's Elf. I just gotta say, one, Buddy the Elf. I love his innocence throughout this movie. I love Will Ferrell's acting throughout the movie. I love that. The main girl that he likes in this movie is kind of fine. I don't remember her name. That's my bad. But she's kind of fine in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Going back to the intro where it's like him and this cartoony and everyone's shorter and it's like a cartoon North Pole, I find that fire. The fine ass mom from Four Christmases is back. I told you, bro, she's fine as hell. She's back. All the meals that Buddy the Elf makes in this movie honestly look so good. And I'm only saying that because I'm a fat ass. Another scene I really, really, really love is the snowball scene fight where they're fighting in Central Park with kids. I think that scene is peak. Another scene I love is the mailroom scene where he gets drunk with the guy who looks like an off-brand Nicolas Cage with long hair, and they just start partying with everyone. They get busted down. They party rock so hard. Also, you have, he's in a store and he's singing. I'm in a video and I'm singing. I'm in a YouTube video and I'm singing. Final note on Elf. I gotta say, if you were to tell me that Elf was the greatest Christmas movie of all time, I would 100% agree. This is the best, in my opinion. So, this being my all-time favorite Christmas movie of all time, you can already see there's a bias, but it's honestly a liked one among a lot of people. So, Will Ferrell's Elf goes in S tier! The next movie is The Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. It's animated. This is another Jim Carrey one. Honestly, story of the movie, guy. He's a pissed off guy, Scrooge McDuck or whatever. He's pissed. He doesn't like Christmas. He's a bitch. There's a disabled kid too. And he's visited by Christmas past, future, and present, and shows that he dies as a heartless whore. So, that's basically the story. Story-wise, it's a good story. Good morals, I just gotta say, the visuals aren't the most pleasing thing. It's kind of dark and grungy, but I think it's what makes it like its own unique thing compared to the other movies. We have Tiny Tim in there, disabled, like I said. We have Bitch. You already know. This movie's kind of monotone with the story because we've heard this story so many times and all that. The Christmas Carol, featuring Jim Carrey, the animated one, I gotta say, goes in C tier! This next Christmas movie is one of the best Christmas movies with the best hit song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is one of the stop-motion old ones, so of course it's already gonna be rated higher. So, Rudolph. He's bullied the fuck out of, and, people don't like him, but he ends up being a good guy at the end of the day because of his birth defect. I just gotta say, the music in this movie is as well as S tier. The songs are in here are so fucking good, like Silver and Gold, or the Misfit Toys. They produce a banger that they're misfits. It's okay to be an outsider, and they make it a banger. I just gotta say, the guy who sings the songs in this movie, who's also the narrator and also the voice of the miner guy or the Woodman or whatever his name is, he also is awesome. I love his voice, so we love this movie. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a classic, stop motion, beautiful message, and the music bangs. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is put in S tier. The next Christmas movie is A Year Without Santa Claus. So we already know how I feel about the old stop motion, so we already know that this is going to be a highly regarded movie. But the plot of this movie is so good! Santa falls ill and cannot deliver presents on Christmas. So basically the plot of this movie is that two elves, Jingle and Jangle, take Mrs. Claus and they gotta go find someone to deliver the presents. Now, they also go to the USA and actually talk with children in the actual, country, and Vixen gets taken. They also visit the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser, and they have their epic music battle, actually, with the great songs, I'm Mr. Heat Miser, I'm Mr. Snow Miser, I'm Mr. Snow, I'm Mr. Christmas, I'm Four Below, or some shit like that. I don't know the words, but, I know that song from the back of my hand. It's so iconic. Now, they actually talk to the kids, and by the end of the movie, the kids send presents to Santa, which makes Santa magically get better, and he delivers the presents. Looking at it all, looking at my bias, looking at the plot, looking at everything, Year Without Santa joins its brothers of stop motion in S tier. The next movie is 8 Crazy Nights, a Adam Sandler feature. This one, automatically, we already know kind of what this is going to get rating-wise, because this is a Hanukkah movie, not a Christmas movie. But going over the obvious rating we already have for this movie, we're going to talk about the good scenes and also the plot. So basically, Adam Sandler is a guy who likes to party, get drunk, and make out with his car, but he's not very good at it, unlike me. I'm a pro. Basically, the judge tells him he's got to do community services and be a good boy over the Christmas break or whatever, or Christmas, whatever the fuck. So he goes to coaching a youth basketball team. Ooh, all the YNs stand up, you already know. And yeah, he basically meets the elf character in the movie. And the elf character's very nice, you know. And he's an asshole. Adam Sandler's an asshole. But this whole movie is just basically recognizing how the elf guy is a great guy throughout the movie, and everyone else is kind of assholes to him. So, you know, the movie ends with everyone being like, damn, we feel kind of bad. Besides the famous scene of him making out with his car, which I actually love that scene, my other note on this movie is the fucking song when they realize that he's a good guy. The bum biddy 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 bum zum song. I don't even know the name of it, but the song that goes bum biddy biddy. Fucking hate that song. I actually hate that song so much, and the fact that it's super popular on TikTok now, that I've heard it for like 2 months straight, not even about Christmas shit or the movie, it wants me to just like stab a Jewish person. That's actually not what I'm going to do. That's a hate crime. So we're not. That's all a joke. All a joke. 8 Crazy Nights. Adam Sandler gets F tier. Our next movie is A Christmas Story. This is also another movie about the family dynamic of Christmas. Also, this movie is about a little kid named Ralphie trying to get a BB gun for Christmas. I just want to say, in this movie, Ralphie is a trained sharpshooter, a felon, a cowboy, if anything. He fucking, in the beginning of the movie, he starts shooting motherfuckers. Burglars come to his house, and he just starts shooting them. He's such a sharpshooter, he shoots all of them the same fucking point in the ass. He had 4 bodies in the first 20 seconds of the movie. The worst part is, he did this all with a lever action rifle, and his body count continues going up in the movie. Also, the burglars were like Team Rocket, because as soon as they got spotted, they ran, and he still shot people who weren't even targeting him anymore. That's not right. Also, there's a broken furnace in the house, and honestly, it's spewing out all this nasty shit in the house. This house must smell so Indian right now! Also, Randy, his brother, honestly is treated so poorly throughout this whole fucking film. He gets pushed over multiple times where he's just squealing around like a fucking dead fish. And then, of course, every movie I've talked about has an infamous scene, but this movie's infamous scene is when a kid gets triple dog dared, yes, triple dog dared, to lick a pole. And then he gets his tongue stuck to the pole, and all the kids leave him! Also, an introduction to our villains, Scott Farkus and Grover Cleveland. Also, apparently there's dogs called the Bumpus dogs in this movie, but they're AKA basically just hellhounds. Those motherfuckers just run around causing those mayhem. And then, of course, another famous thing from this movie is the leg lamp, where people congregate from the fucking streets and stop driving to see a lamp look like a leg. People love thick thighs. And final note of the movie, it's a good movie, but I just want to bring up one more scene where Ralphie was caught using the F word, and then he tells on his friend Schwartz, and Ralphie's mom calls Schwartz's mom, and Schwartz's mom kills Schwartz over the phone! You can hear him screaming! Okay, A Christmas Story. We're gonna put A Christmas Story in B tier! The first movie to start our non-so-happy Christmas movie / our horror section is Gremlins! In this movie, little boy purchased little rabbit thing called a mogwai from old Chinese boy. Basically, these mogwais can't be near lights, they die. If you get them wet, they start to make babies, which is kind of like what humans do, because if I get wet, I'm fucking. And also, if they're fed after the hours of midnight, they start to just metamorph into like some big green Murloc from fucking Fallout or some shit. So basically, that happens. Someone does it to the mogwai, he multiplies, then he makes babies, and then the babies turn into demons, and the demons terrorize the fucking town! I'm gonna keep this short. Gremlins is not a Christmas movie, in my opinion. I feel that Gremlins is just a movie that takes place during Christmas time. With Gremlins not really being a Christmas movie at all, it really can't be on a Christmas movie tier list, but that means that Gremlins is F tier! The next movie is Nightmare Before Christmas. I gotta say, this is a Christmas movie. The music in this movie slaps. I gotta say, the music is really great. I love the characters. I love this movie. I've been to a play of it. I know schools that have done it. This movie is a banger. I gotta say, it's probably up there with like not favorite movies. It's up there in my movies, but it's not up there in my Christmas movies, sadly. But I do like, the whole Kidnapping Santa Claus song. That's a fire-ass song. The Boogeyman is a fire character in this movie. Anyway, so though I like the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. I gotta say, it's honestly not a great Christmas movie, like I said. We do get to see other gods in there, though, and we do see the other Christmas people and other holiday creatures and all that. So, I mean, Santa is in it. It is a Christmas movie, technically. I'm not gonna yell for this one. My throat kind of hurts. But Nightmare Before Christmas goes in D tier as a Christmas movie. So now it's our first actual horror Christmas movie. This one is actually one of the oldest horror movies ever. Coming out 4 years before the first Halloween movie. This is actually one of our first original slasher movies. So it follows sorority sisters in a sorority house getting picked off one by one by a guy who keeps calling them and moaning. He's called the Moaner. Well, he's not really moaning. He's more doing pig squeals, yelling at a kid or whatever. Honestly, it's bone chilling. I actually always am flinching at every time he calls. It's so weird. Also, the promotional slogan for this movie was if this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, then it's on too tight. That's a fire ass line. I'm not gonna lie. Also, so yeah, basically people are getting suffocated in bags. One girl gets stabbed to death with a crystal unicorn while carolers are singing outside the house so they can't hear her die. But in the end of the movie, they think it's Peter. I think one of the boyfriends. They kill him, and it's not him. The guy's still in the attic. With Black Christmas being a pretty good movie, but not having as much Christmas themes in it as much as I would like, I'm going to put Black Christmas 1974 in B tier. The first Christmas horror movie on our list, we have Krampus. So, this one, just like Jingle All the Way, opens up with a great grocery store scene again with people killing each other. So, throughout the movie, Grandma is just speaking Minecraft enchantment table fucking language. I don't know what the fuck she's saying! Also, when the cousins in this movie come over, their fucking car shakes the whole damn house! What are they driving? Then these nasty ass cousins come there with Chip from Anchorman as the dad. I'm just saying, like Kanye said, roaches in their house like they're my first cousins. These are the first cousins with the roaches! I then feel bad for the main kid at the dinner where his Santa letter is read to the whole family, and honestly, it's a sweet note, but his privacy was kind of, taken from him. Now, my question is the kid getting pissed off that his families are assholes, ripping up his letter and shooting it out the window, that makes Krampus want to kill him! Why the fuck is Krampus targeting this little kid for being angry at assholes? Why not come after the cousins? Now, the first one to die is the sister, and to be honest, I'm a little pissed because she didn't do shit. She literally didn't do shit. She went out to go check on her boyfriend, but besides that, she was kind of defending her brother, but didn't really want to start shit up, so she wasn't an asshole. She didn't really deserve to die first, especially the way she did. Then, of course, the fat-ass Augustus Gloop kid, who's probably stupid, and the R word, I can't say that, he was enticed by a fucking gingerbread man who was hooked on from the chimney, and then he died because he's fucking fat. I just gotta say, the Jack-in-the-Box creature in this movie is honestly straight nightmare fuel. And honestly, it's a great design of a creature, but it's just straight nightmare fuel. Actually, it's scary as fuck. I love that, though. Also, in here we talk about how Krampus has elves of himself, so that means that elves defected from Santa and worked with Krampus. Krampus has elves that defected, basically wanting to rather be assholes. Now, in the end, they do the "it was all a dream" thing, which is kind of lazy writing, but that means that this kid had a vivid dream about killing every member of his whole family. And this kid is sadistic as fuck if he's gonna have a planned out dream about killing every single member of his family. Now we see the real ending is that they're trapped inside of a snow globe because he gets the bell on Christmas, but they all remember that they're dead, but now they're in a snow globe. So I'm not really sure what the fuck the ending means, but yeah. B tier because it has Christmas in it. The final movie of our video / tier list is Violent Night, featuring that one guy from that one movie, I think. I don't know. But the main villain is Luigi from the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie, so that's really great. I love him. I love that movie. In this movie, basically, rich people in a house, they're rich, very rich, a mansion, a lot of money, and basically Luigi wants to steal that money and hires mercenaries. But Santa is drunk, he's a Viking, and he's brutal. And he's inside of the mansion for some reason. I don't remember why. And he's just gonna kill everyone. He's gonna defend the family with honor. Honor. He's gonna honor the family. I gotta say, this movie's not that bad. It's well done, and also it takes a nice spin on Santa as a character with him being more Nordic and more big and more voluptuous. I cannot really show much of the movie because a lot of it is pretty brutal and gruesome and also like very bloody and gory, and I don't think I can show it. Violent Night gets B tier. That is the final movie of our tier list, and here is the final tier list. That is the Christmas movie tier list of me, BC Seal. And I hope you guys liked it. And I know you guys will have different tier lists than me. I understand that. And there's also like 80 more Christmas movies that could have been on this tier list. But like I said, time constraint, I didn't put them all on there. So maybe next time when we do another tier list, we're going to go fully into it or we'll include everything. Now, I hope you guys liked this video and I hope you guys subscribe and I hope you guys like Tears for Fears because I do too. Tears for Fears will be around this day, and we are going to be doing more videos like this, also discussions and modern issues. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas because this is the season to be jolly, and I hope Santa gives you guys all the loves and kisses that he can give you. Have a beautiful Christmas. Goodbye.